Hello and welcome to the Away Day Experience Show. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
And Tom, we're Premier League, mate. We are Premier League. We're back at the Pear at Parley. First time we've been here since being promoted. Celebrating with a beverage on a beautiful sunny day. All the tension that we had earlier in the week is gone.
It's gone, mate. And the away day we're going to be talking about was another one that we didn't know. We didn't know if we'd be here. We didn't know if we'd be at this place. So delighted we got over the line, mate, and credit to everyone. All the fans, all the staff, all the players. We got over the line.
This is the final episode of our Mammoth series, episode number 23.
What about the player? Oh no.
We don't need that, mate. We do not need it. And Tom, which club are we doing this week? Blackburn Rovers. Lovely stuff. And you know what? Former Premier League champions. Have they got a Premier League quality stadium? Who knows? But look, if you're new to this series, we do what's called a tier list. Yeah, you've seen them on YouTube all the time. And we rank all of the away days we have into a particular list. And they're put into one of 5 categories, Tom. Can you talk me through the categories from top to bottom?
Yeah, of course. Right at the top, yes, lads. It's literally perfection. That is exactly what I want from an away day. We'll go through the kind of categories we talk about, but bringing it all as a whole, if you're at the yes, lads, you just nailed it. Decent, you're not far off, is the next category. And you know, you've had a really good away day, really enjoyed it, just not quite got to that level at the top. So-so in the middle, as we say, just bang on, happy. It's I normally say it's better than average. It means we're fine with it, but you know, we're not going to put you in them top 2 yet. Nah, mate, is the next category. It's not enough to be the worst in the world, but just not that enjoyable as a whole. And then at the bottom, absolute dog, which just means it was just everything went wrong. It wasn't a good day. And at the moment, we might do a rejig, so stay tuned. But at the moment, Preston are a bit alone in there at the moment.
Yeah, they are. So what you can do is you can click the playlist at the top of the screen. And if you're on this tier list, we've done a video all about you. And what we do, we don't talk about the football match at all. It's nothing to do with the football match. We cover 6 distinct points, Tom.
Yeah, we do. We go for the pre-match experience to start. How is it getting there? What's it like beforehand? If we often go to one of the pubs that they've given us. Yeah. How's that experience before the game? And then going to the stadium. So we talk about the stadium as a whole. Concourse and facilities, when you're in there. Food and drink. What's that like? The view in the stadium. And then we finish it off with the home fan decibel level. How good are the home fans? And that's a difficult one because obviously, like I say, we leave the bias at the door in terms of the game. Yeah. But we always counteract the home fan decibel level. Depends how the game goes. We appreciate that, but we do as best we can.
And like Tom said, at the end of the show, we may do a little bit of a rejig. Because look, at the end of the day, right, at the start of the season, we had nothing to compare it to. And we were starting to put teams in these different sectors, in these tiers. And some of them we're now looking at thinking, that one wasn't better than that, yet they're in the same category. We're going to do a rejig and then we're going to present to you our final away day tier list. So, the likes of Watford, Norwich, maybe Everton, I don't know.
Leeds or Burnley.
Maybe Leeds or Burnley. You might be watching this video with some interest, and you can of course compare notes. And when you enjoy the Championship next season, well, look, we tell you what to do and where to go. So,
or if you're a Watford fan, just ask Josh King.
Exactly. So, we're not talking about the football itself, but we did win 3-0, and as it turns out, it was a crucial 3-0. But let's start with the pre-match experience then, and going up to Blackburn. A lot of fans travelled up on the Friday. Yeah. And do you remember when we went to Sheffield? The roads were just a nightmare going up on Friday. I'm not sure what it is about Friday motorways, but on the Saturday morning, absolutely fine. We were at Warwick in no time at all. Quick stop. And then before long, it was one of the quickest but longest journeys I think we've had. We arrived in Blackburn and we went to one of the Hungry Horse pubs, didn't we? The Fernhurst.
That's it, the Fernhurst, yeah. And we looked beforehand and it was the Fernhurst or the Golden Cup were the ones that were most talked about for away fans. But we went there and parked up, didn't we? £5, wasn't it? I paid for that actually.
You did pay for
I
that,
had £5 in cash, I'll invoice you. But yeah, no, it was easy to park when we managed to get in a good time, parked up, and the weather was nice, which always helps because it meant there was quite a lot of seats out the front. But I actually thought, I suppose it was a Hungry Horse, so it's always kind of well catered for, and I thought the staff now were brilliant, because you walk in and think, oh, there's quite a lot in here, could be, but it was quite easy to get served.
Yeah, and they were prepared as well,
Yeah,
which is nice to see. 'Cause sometimes you go to pubs. I mean, the Golden Cup apparently, the Jacksons, Richard and Mark, they went there and they said they had one member of staff on the bar. It's like, hang on a sec, what are you doing? And
sometimes you think common sense, like it's the last away game for Bournemouth. They're obviously going to bring a big crowd, but yeah, there was a few, like you say, the Jacksons that were in the Golden Cup, and after one drink they went, we're coming down because we can't get. It's a nightmare to get served.
We drove past the Golden Cup, and there were a number of Cherries fans sat outside, so probably a number of them inside as well. And being a bit further away, I think there might have been a smaller percentage at that pub, but in terms of the gravitas of the guests at the pub we went to, mate, we're just standing there having a nice casual beer, and then along come 4 or 5 suited gentlemen. One of them was Neil Vacher, the FD at AFC Bournemouth, Dave, and a certain chairman, Jeff Mostyn, to which the fans said, Mostyn, get us around in or something.
Yeah, he didn't get us. I mean, maybe if we had been promoted at that point, he might have got us around him. But he had to. I like that. He had to think, if we don't get promoted, I need to keep the pennies. But yeah, it was nice to see him there. Turn up for it. I mean, they're always going to be there for that game, but nice of them to think, it's the last away day, we'll come in and see the fans, and Jeff's always great, isn't he, with the fans? So yeah, that was a nice touch as well, mate.
He is, and I mean, I went up to him and I didn't really expect anything. And look, our relationship with AFC Bournemouth is very much an arm's length one, and I think it's healthy as a fan channel to have that and not be sort of too close to them. So I sort of went up to him and I said, look, I'm not looking to ask anything specific or talk about stadiums or anything like that, but can you maybe just come on and just say a few words to people who watch Back of the Net? And he gladly did it. That was so nice of him to do that. And then from one chairman to another, spoke to Trevor Watkins is in there as well. And yeah, really good vibe in there. Lots of Cherries fans. It was a fairly big pub actually, but we managed to got sort of like stand outside in the car park. Had some seats there. There were Blackburn fans in there as well. Really good vibe. Nice sunny day. Couldn't fault it. And only about a 5-minute, if that, walk to the stadium. So as pre-match experiences go, mate, I actually really enjoyed that. Yeah,
ideal. Yeah, it was bang on. I'm trying to think of kind of something that makes it like that perfect, and it's probably just like tunes going and a bit of it getting bouncing, but apart from that, mate, it was absolutely bang on, like you say. And Blackburn fans in there as well, but no problems at all. They were really nice. Spoke to them in there, and they were a bit pessimistic before the game, but they were humble and really nice guys that I met in there. So yeah, it was all in all, mate, exactly what I want from a pre-match experience.
Excellent. All right, so what are you going to go for out of 10 then?
I'm going to go quite high, I think. I'm going to go for an 8.
8 out of 10 for the pre-match experience. Right then, we'll go on to the stadium itself, and it's a stadium whose capacity I don't know, but I always like to ask you this to see if you can guess. I mean, they were Premier League once. We were in a stand behind the goal that it was a double-tiered stand, so we were right up in the gods, so to speak. Had to walk a bit.
Yeah.
Up some steps, and then they had a couple of other stands that were fairly similar, but the one in front of us to the right was actually a really small one, and it was so far back from the pitch, it was really weird. It's almost like the stadium's not been completed, but in terms of their attendances versus capacity, I don't think they need to at the moment, but it does just look a little bit out of place. But Tom, I'm gonna test you on this, mate. Ewood Park capacity.
I feel like it's got to be touching 30, innit? I feel like it's got to be.
What are we gonna go for then?
I'll tell you what, Big Fletcher's number when he come back, 33,000.
The capacity is
not bad, I'll take that.
31,367.
I thought it was touching 30, so yeah, take that. But have you been there before?
I haven't.
No, I
haven't been there. They've played there since 1890.
Yeah, that's my story with the old Bournemouth tattoo. That's all Ewood Park. So when we played first championship season, it was back in 2013-14.
Yeah.
I stupidly tweeted, was really pessimistic going up to Blackburn on my own.
Yeah.
On the club coach, and I tweeted saying, if we beat Blackburn away from home, I'll get a Bournemouth tattoo. And we won 1-0. Lewis Grabban put it through Paul Robertson, and everyone started retweeting it. So, I mean, I probably would have got one anyway, but that was kind of the reason behind it. So, I've always had good ones. And then I had a different one the season after, was when the club coach, I think I told you, was late, and we got there at 3:05, and we were 3-0 down after about 20 minutes. But I've always quite liked it, mate. And as a stadium, what did you think if it was your first time? I quite like it as a stadium.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was higher than I didn't have any expectations.
I feel like I was in the bottom tier before.
Yeah, that feels like out of any team in the Championship this season, that's the highest I've been in terms of altitude watching AFC Bournemouth this season. It's not quite Newcastle away, but you still have to walk up a number of steps. And you know what? The view was pretty good. It was a bit strange when like Phil Bill scored. I couldn't really tell like which part of the goal it went in. But, you know, because you're so high, you just sort of see the net ripple. But it turns out it was in the top left-hand corner, as I thought it was maybe a little bit further down. But no, really pleased with it. We'll talk about the view, of course. But the stadium as a whole, I think, yeah, it was all right, but just that stand on the right-hand side was just a little bit weird in terms of like space in front of you. That we're all standing, of course, but I thought it was all right, mate. But
Yeah, I agree.
you know, it's one of the older ones, but it's nice.
Yeah, no, like it. I think it's got a decent balance. We say this in previous ones. Decent balance of being a nice, modern stadium, but it's also still got that character of it being a bit old. So yeah, I quite like it.
Out of 10?
7.
7.
Solid 7.
Okay, superb stuff. So next we're going to go on to concourse and facilities. So once you're at the top of these stairs, there's a concourse which was fairly narrow, sort of low ceilinged, and you know what, you wouldn't want to have any breathing difficulties if say, you know, a flare went off at half time or anything. Who did that? But you know what, it makes for a great thumbnail, I've got to say. And yeah, we all know about flares from our last home game as well. But anyway, in terms of the concourse and facilities, I mean, look, found it very quick to go to the toilet. They had lots of different like areas to go to the toilet, and it seemed really narrow at the start of the game, but then at half time I was like, oh, actually, there's quite a bit of space here, sort of nooks and crannies and stuff. I thought it was all right. And look, that's also with us taking quite a number of fans as well. So
that's what I was going to say. It wasn't one where we didn't take a lot. We took as much as we could, and it still didn't feel crowded. As I always mention, they open up the doors, some don't. They open it up so you can go outside, which always helps because then you can filter out a little bit more, get a bit more room. So was more than happy with it, mate. Yeah, definitely not one of the worst this season. There's been a few that are a lot more narrow and see a few little entrances to get in. As you say, toilet was easy to go to. So yeah, more than happy with the concourse and facilities.
Okay, at this stage, we always like to bring in the thoughts of Rob Trent from Access Advisor, who travelled up with Riverside Travel. And the coaches and minibuses, they parked adjacent to the stadium. It seems like his journey to the stadium was fairly flat. There was a separate accessible entrance, which there always should be. He got his tickets checked in. The access to the concourse, he said it was a little bit quiet, but it seemed to be plenty of space. But there weren't any away fans where he was. It seemed ironic that there were no accessible height tables in the area, was what he said, but there were 2 good-sized accessible toilets there. He had a pie. We'll talk about that later on, but I gather he wasn't particularly happy with it. He said he went outside to watch the game. They were along the front of the stand behind the goal, so that was away from most of our fans. Now, I saw the replays on TV and the all angle footage, and all of the AFC Bournemouth fans were in the top sort of tier, apart from a few. There were like a smattering of AFC Bournemouth fans. Like, I'm talking like a handful of like 20 fans on the lower deck. So that's probably explains why the concourse where he was pretty empty. But it must have been some people buying some last minute tickets and they just opened it up for him or something.
I guess so. And it's a difficult one, isn't it? Really, really hard to get that balance because obviously, as he said, it was really easy, really comfortable to get in, lots of room. But then, you know, what goes with that is it means that he can't mingle as much with the fans, so which isn't ideal. So yeah, it must be a difficult one, but yeah, maybe need to try and work that out a little bit more because they still want to, you know, don't want to segregate them from us. No. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so it seems like it was a little bit up and down for him, really.
And look, we'll talk about the view next, but in terms of what Rob thought, it was below pitch level. But there weren't any media personnel there obscuring his view, so it was a very raw, you know, view that Rob Trent had. And in terms of ease of access, he himself scored it 3 out of 5. He said not a very inclusive experience, but he did rate the staff helpfulness 4 out of 5 as well. So if you want to check out that video or his channel, click the card at the top of the screen. But yeah, Tom, concourse facilities then out of 10 based on that?
Yeah, difficult. I was probably going to go just above average because I thought it was above average.
You bring it down.
And then we got to put this is where we really put Access Advisor and Rob's views into consideration. So I think it's only fair to go straight down the middle because of that. So I'm going to go for a 5, which is bang average.
There we go, 5. All right, food and drink. Must admit, I didn't have. Now I always say this.
And then you remember you've had like a meal.
I didn't have any food or drink.
Tiggs did. and Tiggs told us that he got a pie before the game. He said it was tasty, but he couldn't eat it till the second half because that's how hot it was.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
Rob Trent said that his Balti pie, he's rating like really badly.
0
Like,
out of 10.
yeah,
No, 0 out of 5. he
0
said.
out of
Oh.
5. So 0 out of 5 is 0 out of 10 in our book. So that ain't good. Not particularly great. Did you have a drink at half time?
Amstel. That puts it up, doesn't it?
That's better. That's better than your sort of your
Carling.
Carlings or whatever.
What's been weird this season, and it's not all about alcohol, but it's just interesting that a lot of places, I couldn't believe how many away games this season there's been carling out of a can. And they're literally just in a can that's warm. So to go to, especially where we know we're one of the smaller clubs, and we got like Moretti and got a nice little our ground, and Amstel was lovely. That was a lovely little surprise, mate.
I think I don't know if this has happened or not. Alex Deutsch, I swear, tweeted like, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago about the club. This ain't your bag, I don't think, but they might be getting some Beavertown like neck oil. Is like, and I like that as a pint. That's like that. I like Punk IPA. I like all that kind of stuff. Elvis juice, all that.
Don't know what you're talking about.
They may have like Beaver, and so that's brilliant from us. And like you say, we can get Moretti and stuff. But yeah, you had an Amstel though, so that's all right.
All the bad reviews, and then we're going Amstel, push it up. But that does push it up for me. Yeah, that's part of the drink. So it was, and we're comparing to all the other teams. It's the last one as well. And so drink wise, I thought, that was a nice little surprise actually. But yeah, food didn't do well. And I think, not great. I'm gonna have to go slightly below average for this one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go for a 4.
4 out.
Hurts me a little bit because of the Amstel.
Yeah,
because Amstel's my favourite. But that's just me.
Yeah,
so.
just maybe reduce the temperature on your pies and just make them more tasty. Okay, we're going to go to the view next, and where we were. You've got a great view.
If it was really bad, I'd remember. Do you know what I mean? It would stick out like a sore thumb, and I don't remember it being really bad.
No.
I think you mentioned briefly when we were talking about the stadium itself that sometimes it was like with Billings' goal, you just see the net ripple because it was.
Yeah, and there was when I think of the chances that they had, second half, I can't remember anything. First half, I remember them having a shot, a kind of low shot that Travers got down and saved, but also a header. That because you're so high, it's almost like you can see it happening before it happens. It goes in slow motion, and it just went wide of the post. I think Travers might have just got his hands on it for a corner or whatever. But it's a funny angle. I'd probably prefer to be a bit lower. But I mean, look, you can't complain. And look, we'll be in the Premier League next season. And we're going to be in stadiums where we're probably going to be higher than we would be, say, at Luton Town away or whatever. Although Luton could still be in the Premier League next season, so you never know. But I was quite happy with it. But in terms of Rob Trent's view, that wasn't particularly good. I've got to say, it was all right. I thought it was pretty good, really.
Yeah, I think what we're saying about it is it was okay. We thought it was pretty good. Rob Trent brings it down a little bit, so I think it's fair to go straight down the middle, mate. Bang average, 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
Final
right
one.
then,
It's
final
the category of the season.
Final category of the season, and it's home fan loudness. Now I've got to say, I've got to say, so it was the top area or the gods or whatever you want to call it. It felt quite enclosed. So when we sang, because of the relative, I'm saying low roof. If that tier was just a tier on its own, there wasn't one below, it would feel quite small and enclosed. But because it's that, when we chant, it sounds so loud.
Yeah.
And we were chanting, I thought, the whole game. I can't really remember, although I saw a comment on a Facebook group from some guy saying that we weren't chanting on back of the net or something.
No, I can't even speak after a game.
But firstly, when I'm recording with my camera,
that's when we try not to.
That's when I try not to, because I don't want my voice on it. But apparently, you were so you're not allowed to chat to people. Mate, just come up and tell us in person. You don't have to save it till you're back home in Lymington. However, we do enjoy a sing-song, and because we were so loud, I think it may have drowned out the home fans. Now, even the times where we were quiet or singing very quietly, I was still kind of keeping an ear out. Couldn't really hear anything. It was only when I watched the alt-angle footage on AFCB.co.uk when you heard them singing like Blue Army or whatever chant. I can't remember what it was singing. I was quite disappointed overall from what I heard.
Yeah, I think this is one I mentioned at the start of the show, that you have to look at a little bit the game, because you have to see that they lost 3-0. And they were a team that only in January we were thinking these are going to be our main rivals for top 2.
But even before.
And they thought, but I agree with what you're saying. And you said the exact point that I was thinking is, because it was so bad, I watched back a few videos to just see was I missing it. And like you say, I heard one little bit. But if you're a Blackburn fan, you think I'm being harsh. We've given a lot of low ratings this season.
But like, we left that ground thinking, I didn't hear him once.
Yeah. That's what I thought. That's why I checked out. I've never done that before. And if you're a Blackburn fan, I think we're being really harsh. Go back and watch all the other videos, because we've been critical of it a lot this season. You know, a lot of teams have got below average ratings because we've said, I've only had a few chants. But honestly, I don't mind Blackburn. This is not an agenda, but that's the worst I've ever. I cannot remember genuinely one song. When I look back, I heard a few little murmurings. Let us know if you've heard that before, and that's because of what it's like as an away fan, and like you were saying, closing all that stuff, because it would be interesting to hear. But like I said, I've been there a couple of times before, and I never really remembered them being awful. So maybe it's just the way they've fallen off a cliff a little bit on the pitch. But
and also,
it's awful.
Wasn't there some kind of, on Twitter I saw something about Tony Mowbray and his future at the club was under.
That was weird.
Yeah, like.
He said
under scrutiny or in doubt or something.
He said before the game, they kind of asked him, "Are you staying?" And he went, "Well, I'm out of contract, and no one spoke to me, so I guess I'm leaving."
So
really
I wonder
weird.
if like that maybe contributes to how fans are feeling. From what I understand, they're okay with him. They're okay with him.
I think it's, don't get me wrong, they were very reliant on Brereton Diaz, and we could talk about, imagine if Solanke got injured. Brereton Diaz got injured at a crucial point. Yeah. But I wonder if as well, I'm trying to think of it and put some perspective in it, if in the window in January, looks like one of your main men, Roffel's going to go, he doesn't, and you're going for top 2, and we're going into the last day and they cannot get in the playoffs. Yeah. They're going to be downhearted. So I'm going to give Blackburn a bit of, kind of, what's the word? What's the bloody word when you're like...
Leeway?
Leeway, that's it. Give them a bit of leeway for that, because they've fallen off a cliff, haven't they? Yeah. So they're not... I didn't expect them to be bouncing. Yeah. But honestly, this is not me trying... I've just got to be honest. It was the worst fans at home I've heard all season.
What's
by a million
your
miles.
rating out of 10?
1. And if I hadn't watched the old angle back and seen them sing a song, they'd have got the first 0. Because I didn't hear them. I'm just being honest. I did not hear a single song.
Okay,
mate.
wow.
Awful.
Right then, it's time to bring up the tier list. Here it is. Here's the tier list on screen now. And look, mate, if you add up the scores and produce a result, it feels like we're sort of talking around the middle territory. Yeah. But we don't do that because there are some people.
Don't try to do calculations because we're not.
How come, like, collectively, you scored Luton this point, yet you scored Stoke this, yet it doesn't work like that,
no,
right?
It's just an overall feeling.
Just an overall feeling. Where's it to go?
I feel sometimes I have a bit of, I don't know what to do. I feel pretty comfortable with this one. I think there were some really good bits, really enjoyed, and some, as we just mentioned there, some really, not so good bits. So I think when you put that into question, mate, I think it's pretty obvious I'm going to put it bang in the middle in the so-so category. I'm happy with that.
There we go. That is our completed, or is it?
Rejig.
Rejig time. We're going to do a rejig right here, right now. There's some clickbait. But first, are you subscribed to us? Make sure you do. There's a little red button, and you may be a Blackburn fan, but look, follow us in the Premier League. Why not? Click the little red button and also hit the like. We would truly appreciate it. You doing that helps get the video in front of more eyes. And if you like this video, feel free to share it on your socials as well. So then, Tom, we got the tier list here in front of us, and there are some clubs here that I'm thinking, I don't know about that. Yep. There's maybe a couple, maybe a few that I feel could maybe be upgraded / downgraded.
Yeah, I've got a couple in mind.
And you're probably thinking, why didn't you do this at the time? Like I said, it's hard to compare sometimes. But now we've got a perspective of all of the 23 games. We can now say, actually, that one not actually that good.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
First one I want to bring up, Birmingham City.
I thought it might be that.
Which is indecent. Now, right, it was a midweek game. Okay, that's always
second
harder.
Away game, wasn't it?
Yeah, second away game. 2-0. But at that stage in time, they only had 2 stands open because of the structural issues. I don't know whether that's changed since then. I hope they're back sorted now. Went to a pub, which
Stood outside, didn't we?
stood outside. It wasn't great. It was small. It was
Not in a beer
cramped.
garden, by the way. We just stood out front.
Yeah, like we were still on the road. It was okay.
I feel like this was, as I said, this was the second away game. So very early in the season, and I've got a lot of kind of sentiment behind Birmingham away. I went there on my birthday when we won 8-0. And I went to that pub, and I feel like that was, and then we won really well, and I feel like in my head it was an early one, but I was like, I always love Birmingham. And before the season started, I thought this could be one of the ones at the top.
And can I we had 2 away games. First one was Forest, and next one was Birmingham. We put them in the same category.
Yeah, there's no way.
There's no way. Forest was far superior.
Absolutely.
We went into Forest. We went to Yale Jerusalem. We went to the Canal House.
Who was afterwards? We went a few, yeah.
It was so superior.
So much better.
Even Forest themselves possibly could be yes lads territory for me.
They're decent, bordering on yes lads, whereas Birmingham are lucky to be decent. And if you're happy for me too, mate, straight away with a rejig, I'm putting Birmingham into so-so.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's definitely one that had that bias of it being one of the first ones. Then when you start every game that went down, I started thinking, oh, actually, that's better than Birmingham, but it's only so-so. And so.
Now, look, we played Forest recently in the league, and we all know what happened. But in terms of the social media before kickoff, it was unbearable from Forest fans who were invading every YouTube comment on this video, invading every single tweet that AFC Bournemouth put out with all their kind of stuff. We're coming for you, and. They were a bit unbearable, but I think it was a little bit pantomime, maybe.
Yeah, it's all in good spirits.
Which it's going to be. Yeah. I would argue that could be in yes lads.
Would you?
Yeah, but I'm happy to keep it. That's one of the other ones that I'm looking at in decent. Thinking if I was gonna change one, possibly.
It's definitely the top end of decent. You could overrule. But I think it's still just top decent. I'm looking at yes lads, I don't think it's quite Bristol Blackpool. Not quite. It could easily get third place I'm not sure, mate. I did enjoy it. I think, I have to go back and look, but I feel like the Concourse was a bit crowded. I think the pre-match is yes lads by a mile.
Agreed.
But I'm not sure if so we were quite low. So that was why I think at the time it didn't quite get in there.
I'm going to leave that.
But it's definitely top end of decent, and if we go there again, it could easily be yes lads. But in terms of their fans, actually, I've spoke to a lot of them since, and I respect them, and they've still got cookie, mate. And I still kind of, a part of me really wants them to do it. But all good fun, like you say, a lot of banter beforehand. But then I went on the pitch and went straight over to them, give them a bit. It's all part of it, isn't it?
All right, so look, any other clubs in decent that you think should maybe? Because one thing I'm going to say, right, Cardiff City. We went to that like the Goal Football Centre, like the leisure centre and stuff, which is fairly close to the. But then I'm thinking, is that much different to say Swansea?
No, probably not. I think what hurt Swansea a little bit was I don't know actually. Yeah, there's not a lot in them two, and I actually prefer Swansea than Cardiff. But Cardiff did give us Kiefer Moore. No, it's not involved. No, I think what it was like you say, there were two kind of socially club things. I think with Cardiff, that what was it called, Goal?
Yeah, the Goal Football Centres. Yeah,
it was a little bit more unique.
It was unique,
and I think that's what helped it a little bit. And I also feel like the concourse and that was very spacious at Cardiff. That's why it kind of plugged it for me. I'm quite happy for them to be slightly above them.
We enjoyed that concourse for a long time at Cardiff, didn't we? So yeah, we must have enjoyed.
We missed the goal. It was in like 50 odd minutes, wasn't it? God.
No, I think it was 58.
It was a queue.
Was it 58?
It was something like that.
But so bad.
You need to come in on one though. If anyone that watched Channel know, I've missed one game this season. Derby. It's indecent at the moment. By the sounds of the gist of it, of what I've spoke to you all about, that seems fair. But are you happy with that? Just to make sure. Because I didn't obviously have the.
You know what?
Obviously the game was absolutely
this is
ranked,
a really good one because it was a lunchtime one, right? But I'm just thinking of the pubs around the ground. And we didn't go to any, and I'm not even sure because it's on a sort of it's on a business park almost.
Right. Yeah.
With lots of businesses nearby. I'm not sure that there were many places to drink at beforehand.
This is what's difficult, right?
Yeah.
Is I think the way you're talking about Derby, I think that's fair to be in the same category as say Cardiff. Yeah. But is it fair to be in the same category as Nottingham Forest?
Derby.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
it's not.
Very difficult, isn't it? But I wonder if at the end, if you're happy to, we kind of almost order it in each category as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think that's fair, because sometimes you've got to make that a bit clearer. But yeah, I was just interested. I think by the sounds of it, it sounds like decent's pretty fair for Derby, but it's probably middle of decent.
Well, yeah. You know what? I'm downgrading Derby.
Oh.
Because there's a Harvester nearby, which, that was like Stoke City, and we didn't have a good time. Elsewhere, there's like the navigation in.
Let's not. I'm worried that you're thinking, I want there, and that's brought everything, your mood down because I want there.
I mean, they did.
And
win
I appreciate it.
They did win 3-2, but that's that's got nothing to do with it. But
I think we've said a whole time on this show.
No, mate. I think
You're
it's
going
good.
down. I want to counter this. We've said all the time on this show.
Yeah, I do, because there's a team that I want to put from so in decent.
Right, that's good. That's good. I think we say on the show it's really difficult because there's certain things we all say weather, but we've got to go off what we're going on in the game. And Derby being an early kickoff doesn't help it. But it was an early kickoff, so we can't do it back. Right, you're going down.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Put it down.
Go on then. You can go straight into what one do you want to switch up with it, and I'll see if I agree. Let me see if I guess it.
I don't think you'll get it.
No, I think I might.
Yeah, I'm going Fulham.
Oh no, I didn't.
Now,
actually, yeah, we done the boat and that, didn't we?
Yeah, it's just, being in the capital city, you can get there by train fairly cheaply. You can get the boat to there. The only look, the lack of pubs beforehand. The Eight Bells was absolutely rammed.
I think that's why we kept it down. Wasn't
Yeah, we went into a Weatherspoons and we got served in there. That was okay. It's quite a walk to the ground, and then you got the away sort of mixed concourse, which will no longer be a thing as of next season, I think. But I've got to say that, look, we've also got a lot of beef. Well, no, not a lot of beef. We haven't. Fulham fans have got a lot of beef with us. I don't really sort of care for Fulham one way or another, really.
Yeah. Quite.
But I do feel as though any London away day, well, not any, because I think Millwall probably rightfully should stay in so-so, but I think
Midweek as well.
I want to upgrade Fulham.
No, I'm with you on that. And also, we just spoke in depth about kind of Cardiff. And the reason it's indecent is because of that unique factor of that. There was a unique factor to Fulham. We got that boat across. Yeah. Like, it's a bit different. So, yeah, no, I'm happy with that, mate. I think at the time, without looking at it, I think we just put it down because of the fact that it was hard to get in the pub.
Yeah.
But I think, actually, when I look back on the season, I think I quite enjoyed Fulham. So, yeah, I'm happy with that, mate. I'll tell you, I've got one I want to do.
All right.
I've got one I definitely want to do. I'm not comfortable with Preston being alone. I ain't moving that up because Preston was dog.
Yeah.
But I'm not confident it being comfortable, with it being on its own.
I know what you're going to do.
And it's also, I wonder if, in my head, I think of Stoke. And I think of Stoke and I think, what did I like about Stoke away that we won? That's what I like about Stoke away. Pub before, was it Harvester-ish pub?
Yeah.
Rubbish. I don't want that, rubbish. I think the fact that it's so close to the ground probably helped it. But in terms of everything in the away day, forget Stoke. Didn't enjoy it at all. And I think subconsciously, the 1-0 win has pushed up one. I'm putting it in with Preston. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, that's so Middlesbrough now on their own in now, mate.
Or are they?
What?
Or are they?
What?
Well, I don't know. They could be. I'm just having a think. There's one I'm debating that's in so-so.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the decent category, and I'm thinking, could there be a switch there? Or could there just be one pushed up? I love Barnsley.
Yeah.
And it's in so-so, and I loved Barnsley.
Yeah.
And they are, I think we said it at the time.
And the pub was so close to the ground. You can see the stadium from the pub.
We very rarely, afterwards, go back in for a drink, but because that pub, they were so friendly.
The concourse was massive.
Yeah. And because the pub was so friendly,
Food was good,
and the staff were brilliant.
Yeah,
we went back in there.
Yeah,
and that's massive. I think it's got to go up. I don't know if you agree.
We're putting it up, and look, this
is off the cuff.
We're levelling up now. So this northern powerhouse, as the government like to say, is in full force here.
I'm going to just throw one at you. See what you think. Does Hull go down? I'm looking at Hull, comparing it to the others in so-so and thinking...
That place was called the New Walton, wasn't it?
It was basically a conservative club, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was no atmosphere, you're all sat down. Yeah. It's a trek for us, obviously.
Yeah.
Is Hull anywhere near as good as the rest in that category? Is it closer to Millwall?
Well, QPR, we went to that Belushi's or whatever... That
class.
Was absolutely class. And I don't, I think because it's such a small Concourse with half the fan base getting COVID in January. That's probably why that was in the category that it is. But Hull is not, and the stadium's lovely, of course it is, but I think it should go down.
Yeah, is Hull as close to any of them in Soso than it is Middlesbrough? I don't think it is. I think it's closer to Middlesbrough than any. Let's move it down. I don't like someone being on their own anyway. What do you think? I'm quite happy with that. I've got one that I'm not going to do, but I'm going to make a little counterpoint. If it wasn't for a midweek, Peterborough could have been Yes Lads.
Yeah.
It was on a barge.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But it was a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Killed it for them.
Yeah.
Gutted they're going down because it feels like we're quite far apart there. But put it this way, if we get a League Cup, FA Cup tie next season, I wouldn't mind it being Peterborough because I loved it there. But it's very close.
Right.
Are we going to just read you the categories now?
Well, yeah, what we'll do, we'll order them. And look, what we'll do is we'll order them from bottom to top.
Okay.
So, bottom of the table, Stoke or Preston?
Stoke's better than Preston, so just switch them round.
So Stoke comes before that.
Exactly the same for the next one. Hull's better than Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Easy.
Okay, for this one, for the so-so category.
You're going to have to tell me about Derby. Would you say it's mid-range-ish? And then I'll go with that.
Yeah, you know what? I'm looking at the better ones here. Blackburn and Queen's Park Rangers, probably.
Yeah, I reckon Queen's Park Rangers at the top.
Yeah.
Then Blackburn, then Birmingham.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Then
Sheffield United. Oh no, that was
Swansea, Sheffield.
Yeah.
And then it's up to you if you think Derby or Millwall, which one.
I'm going to keep it as it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Indeed, I'm putting Forest at the top of decent.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm putting Peterborough second.
Yeah. Peterborough second. Yeah. Well done, Peterborough. That's absolutely superb. Peterborough will be going second.
I'm going to put. What about West Brom staying as it is, because that was the one with the India. Really like that.
Yeah, that's good. I don't think Cardiff should be at the top of that level. I want to put Cardiff like at the bottom of that level.
I think Reading being there is fair.
What about Barnsley?
I think Barnsley goes just after Reading.
Yeah. Luton was a Weatherspoons.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
I'll keep that there.
Huddersfield was that pub called the Boy in the Barrel, and a nice sunny day outside in the sun. The stadium's quite good.
I'm quite happy with how that is actually.
Yeah. Coventry,
just above
Fulham.
Cardiff. I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
And who's going to win? Who is going to win? Blackpool.
Yeah.
It's got to be Blackpool, but I feel awful because if you watch our videos, it's the only one Steve Hensman missed.
I feel awful. Way day ever.
But it also makes me feel really happy. Yeah. Hensman, where were you? But no, Blackpool, and we've said, I mean, just the fact that they put on the music beforehand, and it's Blackpool. It was great laugh, but really enjoyed Bristol. And I tell you what, big shout out to Forest and Peterborough. They were very, very close, very close. But I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
really happy with that.
There we go then. That is our completed away day tier list. It's been emotional, mate.
It has been thoroughly enjoyable. And if we carry on this series, let us know if you want us to.
Yeah, do you want us to? Put it in the comments.
It's better because I quite enjoy it.
Yeah.
It'd be really interesting because I think it is slightly top heavy, and I felt like it would be because the Championship is brilliant. I think what happens is I speak to a few Watford fans, and as soon as you realise you're going down, you go, "Oh, I love the Champ." But yeah, and I'm really glad. Last season, obviously, it was behind closed doors and we didn't get promoted. But now that I know we have, I'm really glad it went that way because I'm so glad we got to go to all these stadiums. Some really nice ones. And there was a couple for me I've never been to. Hull being one of them. Peterborough as well, really enjoyed. So, yeah, really enjoyed it, mate. And, looking forward to seeing what the Premier League brings.
I'm going to ask you a very difficult question. If you were not a Bournemouth fan, where would you place Bournemouth for an away day?
Yeah, difficult, isn't it?
I mean, it all depends like what time of year you go. If you go like last game of the season, like Millwall, I'm sure a lot of fans from Millwall, they'll probably be looking at it thinking, okay, train journey down to Bournemouth, I can stay over like for the weekend.
Yep.
Like there are hotels in Bournemouth you can get for like 40 quid.
Yep.
And they're probably looking at the kind of nightlife, which isn't as good as it used to be, but it's still, pretty heaving on a weekend. They might be thinking that's pretty good, but then you've got the likes of, say, Middlesbrough that might be coming down for a 12:30 kickoff or whatever, thinking, God, this is rank.
I think you've
got the away bars, which are in Boscombe, which...
Yeah, I think, knowing the away bars as we do, there used to be like a Weatherspoons of that was decent, that's now gone. We know the bars, they're not ideal, but it depends what you want from an away day because the stadium, compared to the others, is rubbish. It's one of the smallest. But if you like that kind of enclosed character, then you'll love it. So it depends what you like.
Watching AFTV and I'm sure we'll be liaising with them next season.
All right,
Robbie. They really like, because it's, I mean, one,
Yeah.
it's unique, but also they're so close to their team.
Some fans will go, oh, I love this. This is great. It's all enclosed. You're really
Yeah.
close. And then others will go, oh, bloody shed. So
Yeah.
it depends. So that's very personal. I think the food and drink of the Concourse, I think it's actually pretty decent for what it is. As you say, I'm not sure about the pre-match experience. And it depends what weather you get. Like, I mean,
decent.
I don't want to sit on the fence and go so. So yeah, it would probably go in decent, I reckon,
Yeah.
mate.
No, I agree.
Why
I
not?
agree. So there we go then. That
Enjoyed
is the
that.
series complete. Yeah, that's really good. If you're a fan of an EFL club and you disagree with your final position, let us know in the comments. But Tom, we're doing next season. I mean, there's what, 2 teams going up, so that there'll be 2 teams we've done
Definitely
already.
Fulham. Yeah.
Definitely Fulham. You're definitely one other EFL club, but then what? 17 other clubs to do.
And if you obviously
Can't wait.
look at the tier list, then we, for an away day, we want Forest to go up. If you look at how it's all lined up, but we haven't got any. Well, Middlesbrough could potentially get in there, couldn't
Yeah.
they? So we'd rather them not, but that's more for the distance, to be fair. But yeah, looking forward to it, mate. And honestly, if there's anything in there that you think, is there a category that you think, oh, let's get rid of that category, or is there another category you can think of? Because it's difficult. 'Cause
You're
we
talking about like food, drink,
Yeah.
concourse, any other, yeah.
do you mix up? We were looking at it as well. We do stadium and view. Do we
Yeah.
kind of put that in one maybe?
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
And also, what's hard is we thought about, do we talk about like after the game? But then it's difficult because some will stay up, some we
Yeah.
won't. We definitely can't guarantee staying up at all of them because I can't afford it. But yeah, let us know if you've got any ideas for maybe another category or something like that, because we always enjoy a bit of feedback and get better because the club's getting better.
The
We're in a
club's
better
getting
league.
better. We're in a better league. Right, stay tuned tomorrow on Back of the Net because we've got the preview for the last game of the season, the final game, Millwall at home. Inflatables ahoy. We cannot wait. Until then, up the Ches.
See you in the Prem.